Welcome back to Arise Prime Time. I'm Charles Enyegulu, and this is the part of the program where we go behind the headlines and dig a bit deeper with our guest commentator who will help us explore the stories and issues of the day. And today we have the current affairs analyst, Professor of Communications and Deputy Dean of the Postgraduate School at Bayes University in Abuja, Professor Abiodun Adeniyi. Good to see you, Prof.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
You obviously got petrol into your car and you managed to make it.
Incidentally, I'm still using the one I had before, so
I like that. You're kind of managing it.
Also.
I like that.
Then I'll start
but you were talking just a minute ago about your impressions of Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka when he came in. An extraordinary man.
Yeah, he's been very, very consistent over the years. Remember, he was a columnist in the New Nigeria of old when he was a Reverend Father, and of course, even from then on, he's been very voluntary in, intervening on national issues, even international issues at several fora. And he's kept on doing that. He's a public intellectual par excellence, a professor by any means, and he's got the gift of the gab.
He does.
His vocal pyrotechnic all the time, always very impressive. And it's something, his views, his notions are things that you can definitely not discount. You keep wondering what will happen if, at a time when we don't have people like that in the society.
Yeah, that worries
There's some
me,
kind of
I have to
conscience.
say.
Yeah, some kind of conscience in the society. People that whether they are against you or not, you just want them to be around because they remind you of what the ideal situation should be. And I agree with you when you asked him where he gets all the energy from. How is he able to do it? He's a writer, he's a public speaker, he's a priest. He offers pastoral care to his parishioners, and he does so many things at the same time. Philanthropist as well. We'll just keep praying for him, for God to strengthen him and to keep inspiring people like us who are looking up to him.
Yes, I will certainly add my prayers insofar as it is possible to do that, to that prayer of yours. But let's move from here. I mean, he talked obviously about politics. I mean, his fearlessness, the fact that he holds these people's feet to the fire.
That's right.
And we're seeing one example now of the challenges of governance with what is being seen as an ad lib by the president in his inaugural address. And I mean, literally the country is going up in sort of...
Maybe we should start, Charles, from his inaugural lecture, the one he delivered last Saturday or so, or was it Sunday, when he was talking about failure to regard the management of diversity as a science. Where we fail to realize that Nigeria is a fragile, multi-ethnic state, that you have to understand that it needs you to be painstaking in managing the interests of these plurality of groups, as the case could be. But when a government fails to manage it, you create problems, you create cracks, doubt, you broaden, you widen the distrust gap that is already existing. And of course, he came again to the President Buhari era, where an era that was let down, by the absence of merit in the injection, his failure largely, in injecting merit into his appointment criteria. Often a question of rewarding loyalty, friends, family, and all of that. And of course, it's challenging us. By the time you look at it, you audit it, you see that there's a problem. And this thing has a way of rubbing off on productivity and efficiency at the end of the day. And that's why we're hoping that the new administration will learn from this, and not think that because I'm a Yoruba man, I should favor the Yoruba man above the Hausa Fulani person, or because I'm a Hausa Fulani person, I should favor the Hausa Fulani person before the Igbo person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their multi-ethnicity must be reflected. And it helps a lot. It's good for the optics. And we've made the argument severally that there's no section of this country that you'll not find the kind of expertise you need. It's very, very important. The fragility, it's what it is. Manage it properly. Be concerned about the bigger picture, not the narrow interest.
No, absolutely. And that's a point that he made stridently in his speech. But talking about, we were just talking about the challenges with the fuel subsidy and all that with Yabagi Sani a moment ago. Clearly not the most auspicious start for the Tinubu government, and we've just seen something from the Financial Times of London writing that the expectations for President Tinubu are so low, all he has to do is beat them. And according to the paper, that's the ace that Mr. Tinubu has up his sleeve. Do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, that's a very good one. And sometimes it's better for people to underrate you. Then it becomes very much easier for you to now perform and maybe do well to surpass the low expectations of people of you. You know, it started with so much mixed feelings, so much anxiety in the land, anxiety around his health, his capacity, anxiety around the ongoing judicial adjudication. You are all doing judicial intervention. So all these are surrounding his trying to settle down, I beg your pardon. And of course, we're beginning to see something that looks like a slight disappointment in his delayed appointment of some key personnel that will have been intervening as we are communicating now, given the controversy around the hike in fuel prices. I mean, the personality at the level of communication. He's got quite a number of good people around him that you could have announced by now. And of course, he had 3 months to think about this. So what's causing this 48 hours or thereabout delay, you know, is sending the wrong signal, because we will begin to think whether it's going to continue like this, whether decision-making will become problematic. And of course, I often regard Tinubu as a civilized postmodern leader, you know, who can be very futuristic on account of the kind of people that he has brought forward, that he has bred in the past, you know. So we thought that he's going to learn from the American example, where presidents may announce people that will be in the kitchen immediately, or even before. And of course, Governor Rufai tried it in Kaduna, and it worked for him. 6 days before his swearing in, he made some key appointments. Olusegun Obasanjo also did it. The moment he was leaving Eagle Square, he was making some appointments, and we saw these people intervening. We saw action the first day. You know, action may be right or wrong, but the important thing is that when you are very decisive, it is helpful for the psychology of the people, and it's also helpful to engendering confidence, building trust that you actually have the capacity. That's what we need. It's not late in the day for him to get started, for him to get cracking, you know. But again, the ball is in his court to remember that the time to start and start very well is actually yesterday.
Well, we'll have to watch and see. But I mean, he's only been in office for 2 days, so. His predecessor took him 6 months to make the appointment.
Well, we're expecting to be better than the predecessor.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Hopefully, it won't be that long.
Yeah, that's right.
Prof, I want to thank you very much indeed. Professor Abiodun Adeniyi is a current affairs analyst, professor of communications, and deputy dean of the postgraduate school at Bayes University in Abuja. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja. Bye-bye, and thank you for watching.